Sister Cora Marie Billings.
Yes.
Sister Cheryl here. I'm an Adrian Dominican.
Adrian Dominican? Okay.
Indeed.
Very good. So, and where are you living, Cheryl?
I live in Detroit.
Oh, okay. So you do you see Jamie much?
No, I don't see her much. She's certainly in Adrian. But I mean, I know she just got an award from CTU.
Right. Yeah.
She was over there for that in Chicago for that.
Yeah, that's great.
And where are you?
I'm in Richmond, Virginia.
Virginia. Okay, great.
I used to tease when I was a younger sister. I said no sister should be in one place more than 10 years. And I've been down here 43 years. So I whisper it now.
Okay, well, apparently it was a needed place to be, right?
Yeah.
43 years.
It's been good. It's been good time.
Yeah, I think I've been in this, actually, I've been in Detroit most of my life. I actually was born and raised a mile from where I live now.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's great. So were you taught by the Adrian Dominicans in school?
I was.
Okay. Yep. And I was taught by the Mercies in high school.
Hence our vocations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we have 4 of the Mercy sisters that live at our parish.
Oh, okay.
And
in Detroit. Okay. Does Karen Donahue, is she there?
No, she's not. It's Helen Marie Burns.
Oh, okay.
Linda Worthman.
Okay.
Maria Kozlowski or something like that.
Okay.
And then Ellie. I don't know Ellie's last name.
Yeah. Okay. If you talk to them or whatever, tell them I said hi.
I will.
I do know, I have worked with Helen and with Linda, so I know them. The other 2 I probably have met, and because I've done workshops and stuff like that, so I probably have met the other 2.
Mm-hmm. Well, they just got the 4 of them just got the Urban Spirit Award from the Catholic Astral Alliance here in Detroit.
Oh, okay, that's great.
Yeah, they did. They've been doing good.
They work hard. Those 4, they do.
Mm-hmm.
Franklin, you're driving? You're on mute. You're still on mute.
I think he's driving home from work. He's a barber.
Oh, okay. I can't hear you.
One.
There you go.
Okay, there you are.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm a barber. How you doing, sister?
I'm doing good, Franklin. I said you're driving. Are you on your way home?
No, I'm parked. I work in a barber shop, so a lot of times when I log in, I'm either in the barber shop or I have to come outside.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Thank you. How you doing today, sisters?
I'm doing well. And Cheryl?
How you doing, Sister Cheryl?
Doing good, Franklin.
That's good. Yeah, when we were talking about, I had read something about some of the civil rights stuff with my late stepfather, who was a Black Panther. But what it was, I happened to read it in this book called it was a biography of King by this writer named Taylor Branch, and he had, and it was Part in the Waters, Pillars of Fire. It talked about the renegade nuns and priests, and it was and today. I know today is the anniversary of the death of Sister Thea Bowman, and
tomorrow. She died on the 30th.
On the 30th, and I actually attended the parish. I was actually in the middle of my RCIA when she had died, but I was at another parish when she died.
Okay.
And where the funeral mass was held, it was right behind the public high school that I attended.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I remember
Yeah.
watching that funeral. I think it was on a Monday. I remember
Yeah.
watching on EWTN.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, and I remember what I was doing, and and I'm not sure if Michael told you this, but she was a good friend of mine. So
Oh wow. No, wow. Mr. Howard
yeah,
did not tell me.
she used to call my mom Mom Billings because she would come to the meetings with the Black Sisters Conference. My mom was an associate,
Wow.
and Thea would sit with my mom, and so yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
She's also very special to me. And then I might, um, well, the other thing is I know and remember specifically when she died and what I was doing and what that weekend was,
Wow.
with her. So that's one of the things. And then when you were talking about the Black Panthers, I remember in 1968 when the Black Sisters had their conference. We met for the first time in 1968 in Pittsburgh, and when we
Wow.
were there, we learned a lot of what was going around because the sister that brought us together made sure that we learned a lot of things. And when
Wow.
I came home, I remember that one of the things I did was I wasn't driving in that day, and my cousin came and picked me up. A male cousin I had, Marty, came, picked me up, and I
Mm.
went to the rally because I heard that the rally of the Black Panthers was going to be in Philadelphia. That's where
Wow.
I'm originally from. And the rally was at the Church of the Advocate, which is the church where the first women priests that were ordained in the Church of the Advocate back in the 60s.
Wow.
And I remember going to the rally, because I heard that that was happening. And I think the rally was supposed to start like at 7 or 7:30.
Hmm.
And so, I had left the convent. We, went to the church, and we were waiting. And by like 7:30, quarter of 8, 8 o'clock, the Black Panthers hadn't come yet. So I
Wow.
knew that at that point in time, and with women religious and convents, I knew that I could not stay longer. I needed to, get back to the convent. So I really never heard them, but I
Wow.
had gone that far to try. And that was 1968 was one of the turning points when, like I began to be involved in what was happening.
That's pretty heavy, Sister Cora. Wow. This
Yeah.
course has been an eye opener.
Yeah, and Michael and I go back uh, a long time. So when he asked me, I said yes. Yeah.
He's a jewel, and his wife. And what it was, I didn't know him on Facebook, just with a lot of lay apostolics or whatever. And I like, okay, I knew him, didn't know him. I didn't know his wife. I was familiar with his work then when he had come here to Los Angeles uh, around Martin Luther King's birthday. I like, okay. Then he talked about the course, and I was like, I'm gonna take the course, sir. And
Yeah, and
he's very genuine and very approachable.
very, very, yeah.
So, Sister Cora Marie, you are famous. No, I have to tell you,
I
during
have to I have to tell you, I pay big bucks to people to put my name.
well, I don't know what you did because I mean, during COVID, we had a group of young people here in Detroit, young African Americans that weren't Catholic,
Mm-hmm.
but for their project for the 2 years of COVID, we
Mm-hmm.
asked them to paint portraits of prominent Black Catholics.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
They produced 68 of them,
Oh wow.
and you're one of them.
Oh really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh
So
wow.
You know, and it's just kids from like 13. Some of them are as
Yeah,
old as 22, but mostly they were
yeah,
around their teenage years.
yeah. I have a thing. I'm really, really interested in young people, really, like even little people. But this past weekend, I was in Georgia, in Savannah, and I talked to a couple of classes of high school, but I also talked to college students. And, and I tease them because I could hang with them until 9:30. Some of them had to go to classes, so I left about 9:30. But I say that because I was a campus minister at Virginia State for 7 years.
Wow.
But I say how, the life of a college student, you have to be able to hang till 10, 10:30 or 11 on a Sunday night even,
Right.
because a lot of the campuses have mass in the afternoon, or in the evening, like 6 or 6:30, and then after mass, at the place in Georgia, they had a dinner. The parish, has a dinner for them, and then, that was interacting with me. But yeah, young people are very much one of the groups that I really try to do whatever I can, because I say it's not just our future, it's also the present. So we really need to make sure that for me, I need to make sure that I really look at that.
Well,
Oh,
you're in good company in these 68 portraits, because there's
thank you.
Beyonce and John Baptiste,
Oh, okay.
a lot of other folks that uh, Kobe Bryant. So there you are,
Okay.
Cora Billings, right among all these 68 portraits.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm named after my two grandmothers. That's why it's Cora Marie, because I'm named after my two grandmothers.
Nice.
Beautiful.
And I'm an only child, so that I used to have another name, but then after Vatican II, when we could go back to our others, I went back to my baptismal name and my birth certificate, because I knew that my parents only had me to remember their parents by.
Nice.
Wow.
Hello, Gary and Opal and Kimberly.
How are you, sister? Good to see you.
I'm doing good. Good to see you.
How you doing, sister?
Good. Good to see you. Now, where do you live, Opal?
I'm in Chicago.
You're in Chicago. What about you, Gary?
I'm in Omaha, Nebraska, but I'm originally from Savannah, Georgia.
And that's where I was last weekend.
Wow. Yeah, I'm originally, I attend St. Benedict de Moore here in Omaha, but my first church is St. Benedict de Moore in Savannah.
And I was there
Wow.
on Sunday. Sunday afternoon, they asked me to speak there, so I was there.
Yeah, so you met Father Romanus?
Well, Father wasn't able to be there. And I'm just Sarah, I think, is the woman that, I think it was Sarah was her name. But there was a woman that I think she's like a DRE or has something to do with the religious education of the parish. So
Okay.
he was the one that hosted me,
Okay.
Wow.
But
And you met Deacon Torrance?
No, I don't think.
Deacon
Yeah,
Garvin?
you know what? I think there was a deacon there. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like my little brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was my first time to be in Savannah, so it was a good experience. But yeah, on Sunday afternoon at 2:00, I was at St. Benedict the Moor.
Thank you for taking the time out to spend with us this evening.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Yeah. And I would do anything for Michael. Michael's very, close, and I believe in what he's doing. So, and we've known each other for years. So when he asked me, I said, yes. I would even have been willing to, go where he is, because I like to travel. So I I tell people a lot of going up the East Coast, I use 95. So I tell people I can get there very quickly because it's 95. So I do 95 on 95 because that's what the sign says.
Funny.
So I get there, in time.
And no one would dare give you a ticket.
No.
No, never. Kimberly, where are you? Where do you live?
I'm in Bossier City, Louisiana, so the
Oh.
sister city to Shreveport.
Oh, okay, okay. I think I've been there in the past. Yeah, I've been to a number of the cities in Louisiana, and I think Shreveport, I've been there. Yeah. So, yeah. Oh. So we're waiting for Michael, right?
Right.
Yes.
And speak of probably the angel. Is that Michael coming in? I'm not real good with technology, and I panicked because about 7:30, my computer froze and nothing was happening. And I thought, oh no. So I turned it off and it's back. It's okay.
Well, that makes you a computer technician.
So is somebody texting? You are, Kimberly? Okay.
That's the first rule of problem solving. Restart the computer.
Yeah.
Now, sister, where are you located?
I live in Richmond, Virginia.
Richmond, Virginia.
And I was telling Sister Cheryl that when I was a younger sister, I used to say no sister should stay in one place more than 10 years. And I've been in Richmond, Virginia for 43 years.
Wow.
So I whisper it when I say it. But I've had four different ministries, some of it overlapping, but I have had that. Well, good evening, Michael. He's
still on mute.
Yeah, somebody trying to call me. Is that one of y'all calling me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Hello,
sorry.
Michael. I've been chit-chatting.
I figured that. I told Charlene said, now, what happened you don't get there? I said, well, Cora Billings, she's going to just start talking. Because that's how she
I'm
not
true
gonna
to
let
form.
let no grass grow underneath her feet whatsoever. So I
You know me, Michael. I told them that you know me from way back.
Yeah, it's way back, way back. Hello, everybody. I was at a wedding, and the wedding invitation said everybody to be there at 6 o'clock. I was supposed to be the opening prayer. When I get there at 6 o'clock, then they tell me the wedding party is not going to get there until 7 o'clock.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm like, really? Did they really do that to me? And then when they did that, they got married yesterday, and then they had the wedding reception today, so they had this music in the beginning and all this stuff going on. And oh gosh, please! I didn't get no dinner. I ran out the door, the back door. I apologize to all of you, but I just knew Sister Cora Billings was going to say something. She's not going to let no grass grow on your feet. So, welcome. How's everybody doing?
Okay.
Good.
Good. Sister Cora, we normally start with some type of Nexio. I want to do a Nexio right now. And let me pull that up. Share my screen and make sure it's all ready to go. Yes, it is ready to go. All right. Hi, Claudia. Hi, Gary. Hi, Cheryl.
How are you?
I'm fine. Opal, Kimberly, thank you for the phone call. Checking in on me. That's good. That's good. Because, You know, we ministers need to be checkable, right?
Yes.
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 Here is our Lexio for tonight. Gary, I'm gonna let you read this first, okay? And let's pick out some words. Yeah, I want you to read this first one.
Okay. How lovely your dwelling, O Lord of hosts. My soul yearns and pines for the courts of the Lord. My heart and flesh cry out for the living God. As the sparrow finds a home and the swallow a nest to settle her young, my home is at your altars, Lord of hosts, my King and my God. Blessed are those who dwell in your house. They never cease to praise you.
Okay. So thank you, Gary. Let's let some of these words wash us. Any word jump out as Gary read this reading? One word.
Cry.
Settle.
Yearns.
Pines.
Yearns.
Yearns.
Cry.
Claudia, will you do the second reading and then we'll unpack what we're reading and then we'll introduce Cora Billings. So Claudia, could you read these for me,
Sure.
please? Welcome.
How lovely your dwelling, O Lord of hosts. My soul yearns and pines for the courts of the Lord. My heart and flesh cry out for the living God. As the sparrow finds a home and the swallow a nest to settle her young, my home is by your altars, Lord of hosts, my King and my God. Blessed are those who dwell in your house. They never cease to praise you.
So what phrase or thought goes through your mind reading this a second time?
My home is by your altars.
My heart and flesh cry out.
Blessed are those who dwell in your house.
They never cease to praise you.
The swallow of a nest to settle her young.
My soul yearns and pines for the courts of the Lord.
My King and my God.
And so what's going on? What is the psalmist doing here? Any thoughts on this? Reading it over and over again? Any thoughts about what's happening with the psalmist? There's a couple of themes that's being repeated, of course, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You see a contrast. As the sparrow finds a home,
Yes.
and then you got my home,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got blessed are those who dwell in your house. You got,
And then you also have my heart and flesh cry out for the living God.
Mhm. So how did that speak to you, Claudia?
Mm. It just sounds like he's going through A dark place, agony. That's what it's speaking to me. He's going through something deep.
So what is it? What is it that he's going through? Do the verses give us any kind of indication of what his darkness is? His heart and flesh. Why is his heart and flesh crying out?
He has no home. Wandering.
It's like
Yeah.
he's being persecuted. Yeah.
Out there. Somebody in the streets.
Yeah. Yeah. He said, apparently he recognized the dwelling place, right?
Right. It's like he's known of the good place.
Right.
Like the prodigal son. Like
That's a thought. That's a thought. That's the reading tomorrow, prodigal son, right? Mm-hmm. My soul yearns and pines for the course of the Lord. Maybe he's been separated, right? My heart and flesh cry out for the living God. Maybe he had a home. Now he's separated. And now he's comparing his life to a sparrow that finds a home.
Yes.
Because it sounds like he knows of the blessings. He's lived them. So he's seeking that again.
So I was thinking, I'm sorry.
Where's Gary at? I don't hear Gary. Gary ghosts on me?
No, I'm just meditating on it. And yeah, just like was said, it seems like he's familiar with the Lord's dwelling place, but he's not there. He knows where his home is, and he's saying that those who dwell there are being blessed, and they're always praising the Lord. Well, he needs to return to that place.
Girl, are you ghosting me too? I ain't hear your voice.
No, I was just thinking I have Augustine and Monica up on my icons up here. And Augustine certainly said, our souls are restless till they rest in you. And I think that's what this is about.
That's what he said. That's what he said. That's what he said. Y'all gonna hate yourselves. Boy, y'all gonna hate yourselves. Or not. Y'all might say, wow. But isn't this is the psalm that was on Gary's act. When we closed out, Gary, when we closed out on Tuesday and we read the scripture readings and we read Psalm 84.
Wow.
This is Psalm 84.
Gary.
Wow.
You should
Well, see,
Gary.
I cheated. That's why I went with yearns.
Speaking.
That's why I went with yearns.
This and what's so profound is that we have this thing of the dwelling place, and your soul pined for it, right? He knew about it, and you could think about Katrina.
Yes.
How people were separated, and then they had to find a home. And so this is Katrina. This is the migrants that we're dealing with right now.
Yes.
They've been here for a long period of time, and now they're being separated, being snatched off the streets, legally and illegally.
Yes.
They have no more home. Right? The sparrow, the bird, he can fly from one tree to the next tree and find a home. But you and I, unless we have really elevated our spirituality to understand that the building does not make the church, we are finding ourselves looking for a building. So we can say, like Kimberly said, my King and my God. My King and my God is not in the building. So blessed are those who dwell in your house. They praise his name forever. And so I'm just really, I'm just excited because Cora Billings can talk, Sister Cora Billings can talk about the sparrow, talk about a home. She was once a associate pastor in Richmond, Virginia for several years. And she had to help people to understand that, you know, this is your place. This is your home. And that is a major, major issue right now in the Catholic Church. When we stop and think about what's going on, the climate that's in the air, where we have friends who used to go to church are being dislocated right now, right? Isn't that right, Cheryl? They got that, what do you call that? You know, one garment. What's the name of that? What's the name of that thing y'all got in Detroit?
Yeah, no two garments.
Right, you know, one tunic or one tunic.
One tunic, right.
And what's happening is that we are being duped as Black Catholics. And we need to have the spirit, Sister Cora Marie Billings continuing to fight for what's right. Jeremiah said we're being duped. And the way we're being duped right now is that our bishops know, they knew what churches they were going to close. They knew. They did the mapping of our neighborhood years ago. And they knew what places and where to target because they knew what developers wanted. Mm. And so by doing the mapping of the neighborhood, they will be able to close down school, which feeds churches, then close churches, and then sell building, and they never show you the money. Help me out, Sister Cora Billings. Am I right on this thing, or am I way off target?
No, you're right on target. And, you know, as Theo always says, you tell the true truth, and that's what we have to do. We have to tell the true truth, and that's true. That's what happened. And it's still happening. You know, to find that churches are being closed and we don't know where the money is, and they're saying they don't have money to keep the schools. And we know, even from one of the first letters that the Black bishops wrote, they said that they got the inspiration, or they got the grace to become Catholic in the schools by going to Catholic schools. So if we get rid of that, we're getting rid of the faith in young people, and then if we don't have it, they don't take it for it. But yes, you're right on target, Michael. Yeah. Yeah.
And so how did you, Gary, you got your hand up. You were going to say something, Gary?
Yeah, one of my mentors was saying that that the church must have thought that we were progressing too fast with the Catholic schools, and that was one of the reasons to, these people talk about being fair, and they seem not to like competition. And when the Jesuits taught a lot of our kids to be administrators, we started, spreading influence and influencing decisions, and it seems like this church does not want that. They want to be able to tell us what to do and just have us shake our head. It seems like they create crisis and create scarcity to get the outcomes that they want.
No, that really is some of the things that I see, and then that's why for me, when I see that, and I was a school teacher for 19 years, so I do my homework. And when I look at when I do my homework, I see exactly what you're saying, Gary, and what Michael was saying. And so when I see that, then I know what I need to really work at changing. And the Sisters of Mercy are really big on language. And we also, one of our key critical concerns is nonviolence. So in the past, I used to say, I pick my battles of what I'm going to do, but I can't say that anymore. So I pick the challenges that I need to do. And for me, it is a challenge to look at what's happening, to be willing to get the courage to say what's happening. And also, as Michael mentioned a few minutes ago, when I was a pastoral coordinator, and that's what we called ourselves in the Diocese of Richmond. There were 9 of us who were leading parishes. And we were not associate pastors. We were, in quotes, the pastor of the church. And we chose to call ourselves pastoral coordinators because if you say associate pastor, it's still under another person. If you say pastoral associate, it still means the pastor is there. But if I say pastoral coordinator, that's what we did. We coordinated the parish and we were responsible for everything. So I was responsible for the leaks in the roof and the new stairs and the bathrooms, but I was also responsible to make sure that a priest came in for mass. And then if I could not get a priest, then we would have what is called we did not call it communion services. In the Diocese of Richmond, we always called it the liturgy of the word with Eucharist, because that's what it is. It's the liturgy of the word, and then the Eucharist already consecrated. But we did that, and I did that for 14 years. So I was the pastor of the church for 14 years. And it wasn't just women religious. I make sure that people know that, because when I say that I was, then people assume or perceive that it's only women religious. But one of the women who founded a parish in Norwich that's still thriving in Norwich, Virginia, is near Williamsburg. She founded and established St. Olaf's Parish, which is still there, and she had 12 children. I think some of them were foster children, but she was married and had 12 children. Another woman who had 3 parishes, she was married and had 8 children. So it was not just women religious, but it was, and Bishop Sullivan, who started that in the diocese, was very much interested in lay leadership. And so that's why, when Michael told me, I said yes to coming, because we need to know, and as people, and especially women, because our church is very patriarchal. So we need to make sure that we as women know that we have a place in our church, and that we need to find those ways to become leaders. And then if we get that opportunity, to make sure we do our homework and that we remain that. And just a side thing for you to know, that a lot of things in my life, I'm either the first or only. And I was a question of jeopardy. So in 1990, the question of jeopardy is, who is the first African-American woman to be the head of a Catholic church in the United States? And the answer is Cora Marie Billings. And it's Cora Marie because I'm named after my 2 grandmothers. But so that had a lot. And one of the things I'll say, which also shows what we see in our church today that's really difficult. When that happened, I got a letter from a woman in Chicago, and I didn't know her, but she wrote a letter to me, and I don't remember if I kept it or not. But her letter said that she was ready to leave the church. But when she saw that the possibility of a woman to be in the church and be in leadership, that she was going to hang in. So that also for me shows that there are times in our lives when other people are affected or impacted by what we do, but we might never know that that's happening. Now, and Michael.
Yes, that sounds like that sounds like you're talking to my friend down here, Claudia, because she was having some misgivings a couple of days ago, and she was like, "Well, they don't respect me, blah 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 blah." So, Claudia, I hope you hear what she just said.
She's such an inspiration to me because it's like I do all of that and then some. I mean, we
Yes.
have a pastor, but I'm the one that's even though my title is secretary, but I do everything there except listen to confessions and celebrate mass. But everything else I do, especially when he leaves to go to Nigeria, then I'm in charge of the church, and I'm in charge of getting priests to come and celebrate mass or have the communion service that, by the deacons. And also, even though he's there now, he's not really there. During the day, I'm it. So
yeah,
You're not it. You
I
are
mean,
the anointed person that
you're
God has
right,
placed in that
right,
church. Don't you ever, you're not going to get away from me, girlfriend.
right, right,
You're not going to get away from me. I'm just telling you right now.
right.
Sister Cora
Right.
Billings, can you talk about that, take us back to the civil rights movement and your vocation and your call to ministry, and what was that like? We got pictures of you in the subversive habits. I forgot
When I
what
was
page.
17, when I was 17 and a half years old.
Wow.
But one of the things I want to say, Claudia, or to all of you, is that in 1980s, whenever George Stalins left and started the Imani temples, okay, I got interviewed by the paper, and they asked me about the ordination of women, and they asked me about the things because there were three issues that George left and started Imani Temple. And I said that in my day and at that time, women would not be ordained, but it did not stop me from doing what I could do and what the God's given me the gift to do in our church. So I just say that there might be laws, or they're saying that women can't be ordained, or that priests can't get married, things like that. But we can do what God has given us, and I say that the power does not come from a person. The power does not come from a bishop, doesn't come from a person. The power is from God. So everything that you have and every gift that God has given you, I say that we better use it. And I say that, I tell people, they say, well, you're doing all this stuff. I said, first of all, I'm 86 years old and I'm proud of it. And I'm going to live to be 125. I've already told God that that's going to happen. But I say, because I'm in good health and I can do this, like we had a retreat today, and I got down, they took the picture, I got down on the floor because, there was a crowd, and I got on the floor and I could get up. I said, if I have all that, that means God is giving me gifts and I better use it. Because if God's given me that, then I better be using it for God's thing. why am I a Sister of Mercy, or why did I feel that? I've always wanted to, and I think it's part of the Aquarianism in me. I'm an Aquarian, and I think part of that is interacting with people. So I get energized by being with people and learning from people. My mother used to tell me, if you don't learn something new each day, it's worthless. So I want to make sure my day is worthwhile. So I'm constantly learning. That's why, I said yes to Michael, because I can learn so much from you, because you have something to teach me tonight. And so I joined the Sisters of Mercy because they were ones that I felt were compassionate. They were very welcoming. They looked at me and saw in me some of the gifts that God had given me. I said that I'm a first in many things. My two aunts, my mother's two youngest sisters, became Oblate Sisters of Providence in 1944. And I grew up and was in Philadelphia. And in 1944, at that point, even the Sisters of the Blessed Sacrament, who were founded for the Black and Native Americans, did not accept a person of color in their community. They were founded back in the early days. My aunt, my mother's two younger sisters, could not enter any community in Philadelphia, not even the Mercies, but they couldn't enter any community, not even the Blessed Sacrament Sisters, in 1944. The first Native American or African American to enter the Blessed Sacraments wasn't until 1954 or 55, and they were founded early in time. Up until 1956, which is when I entered the Sisters of Mercy in 1956, and that makes me another first, because it's the first time that an African American could enter any community in Philadelphia. Now in 54, the Blessed Sacraments got his sisters, but the African American was from Louisiana, and the Native American, I think, was one of the reservations, like Iowa or one of the reservations there. And people asked me, why did I choose the Mercies? I told you, what I found in them, and then I was taught by them in high school. But I feel that, and I know that a vocation and any way of life, like any vocation, all of you have vocations in life right now. And at this point in time, that's the one that you feel God is calling you to. And God gives you the graces to fulfill your vocation of what God is calling you to. And and that's another thing, like some of the sisters would say, well, I didn't want to encourage any girls to enter it because we're racist and we're prejudiced. They didn't use the word racist in those days, but they were racist and still are. There are still some women religious that are racist. And that's one of the things, and even in the Mercies. So that's one of the things I'm dealing with and challenged by, and using every gift that God gives me and every kind of way to get rid of that. So I answer your question.
Sister Cora, did you say that there's still some white women who are in religious life who are still racist? Did you just say that?
And I said that, and it's true. There are Sisters of Mercy. Like I said, that we're good. I think the Sisters of Mercy, I remain in them and I believe in them. But the other part of what, for me, I cannot change the system. And there are systems that are racist. All the systems that we can see are racist, have racism in them. So for me, though, I can't change the racism in the Sisters of Mercy being outside the Sisters of Mercy. You can only for me, you can only change it from the inside, because I'm on the inside and I know what's there, then I can talk about it and I can deal with it. If I'm on the outside, I'm not really sure of what's there. But yes, Michael, there are sisters, and I don't say anymore white sisters. Because the language right now is we're using people of color. So for me, I use the language because I also think there's needs to be a constant thing in our language and our actions. So I talk about people of white and people of color. That's how I talk about it. But yes, there are sisters who are racist.
Hey. All right, look, let me hear from let's hear, I know you want to hear from the class.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, they sitting back and
I'm
like,
tired of talking. Y'all talk or ask me something.
right. So, all right, so you heard it. You heard it. So let's unmute yourselves and let's delve in. Anything on top, everything open forum. Go ahead.
And because Thea talked about the true truth, I've tried to lie, it doesn't work. So you're going to get the true truth.
Well, Sister Maria, Cora Marie, I appreciate your referring to people of white, because I've used that term myself, because it talks more about a culture that a person's in, and it's that kind of culture that is has the racist attitude. So I appreciate that change in language. But I'm also curious about whether you've been following anything that's been happening with the discerning deacons in the U.S.
I'm having problems with the seminaries in the U.S. right now. For me, Vatican II was a changing point in the history of the church. The one thing that the church didn't do is they really didn't educate us before Vatican II. Wow. It came and it was very sudden. So there are things that happened that did not have an understanding. And before Vatican II, for most of us, what we learned, it was you had to learn what was told to you, or you had to believe what was told to you. And many of the people who were teaching us really didn't know, or you didn't know why things were done. There are reasons why the priest washed his hands during Mass, but we weren't told why. There are things that we were to believe. And really, one of the things that was evil that you find is that we were not allowed to really read the Bible, because we would become heretics in reading the Bible. And that's why any person who in early days, because we didn't read the Bible, that's why a person of another faith tradition knew more than we did, because they read the Bible, they quoted the Bible. And for the people who were enslaved, that was the only book that they were able to sneak to read. And so, that part's there. But my thing is that Vatican II was a movement to get people to really look at the humanity of Jesus, to really get to the point where we interacted and became relational and depended on each other to get to the kingdom of God. We did not and could not do it by ourselves. So as far as the seminaries and what's happening that I'm finding, and it's even happening with some community people, some women, they're wanting to go to the church that was before 1964. They want to go back to Latin. They want to go back to having to see and know and recognize sisters because they have on a veil or a long dress. And I'm sure, Cheryl, when in in the Adrian Dominicans, one of the things that we were always told coming through our and we don't call it formation anymore, the Mercies, we call it either incorporation or new membership, because we feel that we're formed in our homes and with our families, we're formed. But that what we were taught in the early days, I know when I was a Pasha novice in the Mercies, I heard that people should recognize you by who you are and not what you have on and not what you're wearing. So when I go into a room, people should be able to tell there's something a little bit different than me. But if they can't tell it by that, the Sisters of Mercy and all of the communities have some symbol, like we have a pin that we wear that tells us which community we are. And the other thing, like I said a little bit earlier about not knowing why, like people look at the flying nun, that's probably for the time of some of you on the screen. You never saw the TV. Well, you could see the old things. But the flying nun's dress was a long dress that went down to the ground. It shows the big white hat, bonnet that we say she had on. Well, that was the dress of a poor woman that worked in the fields in France. That's what that dress is. But it got to be a symbol, and people thought, well, that's it. Well, the symbol and what we wear today is the poor dress or the business dress of a woman. And I tell people, if I had on the Mercy habit, and I really wore it for a number of years, I wore it from 1957 to 1964, and then really till 1981, 82. That's when we had a modified habit. But if I had on the dress that I wore when I was professed, that dress today would cost like $2,000. And what I have on now, even the suit I have on was given to me. God has blessed me. So I get hand-me-downs from whomever. So what I have on now, I think the only thing probably that I pay for, I don't know, might cost like, well, my shoes. I buy my own shoes. And the shoes I have on, I've had for like 5 or 6 years. And I'm mad at, what was it they called? There was a shoe place that you could get shoes for $5. And so but my shoes that I bought back in the day, I can't, it just slipped my mind. But I say all that to say also, I know one of the questions that you gave me, Michael, was also a scripture quote. One of my favorite scripture quotes at this time in the last couple of years is Ecclesiastes. There's a time. And I really believe right now there's a time for some things to be happening. Right now, we need to look and see what we're doing as far as looking at people, the border, the immigrants, what we're hearing about Greenland. And, like we need to look at that and find out my homework to find out what it's really about, but also to know what gift did God give me, because each one of us has a gift to answer those things. Some of us are good writers, some of us are good speakers, some of us are just encouraging others to hang in when it gets tough. Michael, did I go too long?
Yeah, you're doing great. You're doing great. You're doing great. All right, somebody else got a question, I know, or a comment. All right, because you heard, she said she wants to hear from you all.
Yeah, I'm tired of talking.
Sister, I have a question. So what experience, because I'm glad you brought up Father Stallings, because I asked Professor Howard about that as well, about why he didn't, what kept him in the church. But what experience that you received that you finally, like you said, the lies don't work, and people try to program me. I was in the diaconate, and I was removed from the program. But what was your experience that made you say, "Hey, I just got to speak the truth"?
For me, the challenges, I think, because I know one of the gifts I know that God has given me is that I am able to speak. Like, and when I do presentations, I can't write it down. My mind doesn't work like that. So, stuff keeps going in my head, and like until the moment I'm speaking, things come. And I laugh at sometimes because I'll be talking and saying something, and then I remember something like 20, 50 years ago that I did that connects. So that's the way my mind. But what I feel is that God has given me a gift so I can speak. I know people will tell me too that I have a way now. This is a funny thing, and when you think of it, well, I'll tell you what it is. Um, when Bishop Sullivan was the bishop down here, that every bishop has to visit every parish in their diocese in the course of 5 years. So Bishop Sullivan, the kind of bishop he was, he would not go to the parish by himself. He always took at least 4 or 5 people of his staff with him. So, but at that point, I was the head of the Office for Black Catholics of the diocese, and I did that for 25 years. So I did that. So I would go with him. Well, he would tell me in the course of it, we would go to the parish and the school. We would visit, talk with, and then that night we would have meetings with like the parish council, finance council. And that's another thing, Cheryl, that's getting me when talking about the church, and also Claudia. What's getting me is that there are many, like even the Diocese of Richmond, there are parishes that no longer have parish councils and finance councils that were supposed to be in every diocese in 1964. And a lot of parishes did it, but suddenly now these are things that are happening that, that we need to know what the homework and what should be, and then find ways that we would be able to make the changes and have the courage, if we have to go to the bishop, have the courage to do what we need to, but also doing it with people. But so that was, one of the things. But with, with George Stallings, that, like I had worked with him from Philadelphia, because in Philadelphia, the first Black priest wasn't ordained until 1974. That was a big year for Black diocesan priests in the United States. In 1974, 10 Black men were ordained as diocesan priests. And that was a big year. And in Philadelphia, got their first Black priest in 1974. And so when I was in Philadelphia, that's where I was born, raised, and grew up, and stayed there until 1981. I was in that diocese, archdiocese, until 81. But what I did was I had to get Black priests from the neighboring diocese to come in and do things. Like at one point, one of the things I wrote down, you asked about dealing with the history and things. I taught in my alma mater, the school I went to, I taught there from 1969 to 1976 were the turbulent years. It was right after King. I can tell you what I was doing when King died. I can tell you what I was doing when Kennedy. And one of the things that's in Subversive Habits, if you read that, also that in 1961, I was in Levittown, which was all the only African-American Levittown, Pennsylvania, was me in the whole town of Levittown, because it was a development that no African American was after the war, after Second World War, and no African American could get a home in Levittown, Pennsylvania, or Levittown, New Jersey. And so those are some of the challenges. Now, Gary, did I answer your question? I lost.
Well, you know, one thing you did just help me out with, because I went through a Black Preaching Academy, and I can't seem to write down anything when it comes to preaching. And so, again, you just gave me a grace right there by helping me with that, just to go with what's on my heart. I'm waiting for those occasions to arise, but I just, you know, I have a book right here by Sam Proctor about crafting a sermon. And like I said, again, you know, it's this forum has just been manna from heaven for me. This is my diaconate formation outside of the normal channel. And you know, this is my community here, and I'm just you know, Professor Howard's one of my heroes now, and you're one of my heroes as well. And so
one of your heroes.
Yeah, heroes. And I thank you for all that you've done, and I thank you for you know, just continuing to give and not saying I'm retired. I'm sitting down and letting somebody else have the fight. But yeah, any guidance and encouragement that you can give is welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, and one thing I want to say there, Gary, because what you said is one of the things I dealt with. This is back in I don't know, in the 80s or 70s. At one point, I looked at Jim Good. I don't know if you ever heard that name, but Jim Good was a Black priest. He couldn't enter the he's from Roanoke, Virginia. He could not enter the diocesan seminary when he wanted to be a priest. So he had to go, he became a Franciscan, which, you know, like that's part of the racism and, you know, like part of what we've dealt, the fact that he, especially, you know, because I'm down here and his cousin is in, I was just talking with his cousin in Norfolk. They live there. But anyway, I used to look at Jim and listen to him preaching and thought, I wish I could preach like that. But God gives us the gift to do what we need to do. And so, yes, we look at what we see as something we might want, but we also need to make sure we're using whatever gift that we have. And the gift of preaching is for some people, but it's, you know, like just to make sure that, and I think what happens in the US, we become competitive and we are always putting ourselves against, and that's what used to happen in women religious. We didn't get along together in the olden days because we were too competitive and trying to do each other out. So when we come to acknowledge, and my thing is, I know who I am, I know what gifts I have, and I acknowledge it and own it. Until we own our racism, until we own exactly who we are and what we are, then we will never be able to accomplish or get any better. Because if we deny, we're never going to deal with what's there. But that was when you talked about deacon and preaching. That's one of the things that I know that I had to deal with. And so now, you know, like when the bishops came out in 2018 with that open wide our hearts, and I'm not going to ask you what, you know, if they did it in your diocese, but it was supposed to happen in every diocese, every parish in the nation was supposed to have listening sessions. And I can only count on one hand and only two parishes, two dioceses that I know did it. Not even the Diocese of Richmond did it. And, you know, I've complained and talked about that and trying to deal with that. But I got invited to be a panelist for the other diocese, and it's a listening session. That's what it was supposed to be. The bishops were supposed to hold these sessions for the diocese. They were supposed to get representatives from parish, like 15, because you don't want the session to go too long, and the 15 people would talk for 3 minutes or so. Okay, so I was asked to do it in the Archdiocese of Philly and the Archdiocese of Baltimore. And before, in both of those archdioceses, I got a notice from the bishop's secretary or whatever, asking me to send them a copy of what I was going to say. And this is one time that I did. I was the only one, I think, in the people that did it. But I said, I never write down anything I say. And my thing is, and what I said to people, how can you write a copy when you're supposed to be listening to what I'm saying and put it together, what everybody's saying, and then talk about it? So that's, I need to hear from you.
Opal and Kim, I mean, I know y'all sitting back there, and Claudia.
Yes, I would like to say something.
Okay, you're welcome.
First of all, I want to thank you for your time and for pouring out your heart to us. Everything that you're sharing is it's just so much. But what I'm taking from you is that God has given us the graces to fulfill our calling. So I'm taking that. And going back to what you mentioned, Sister, as far as the Parish Council and Finance Council. I can only speak for my parish and for what I've seen, and it's really sad that the folks involved in these two councils really don't do their job. They don't take any initiative. They just go along with what Father says. And so because I see so much, and because in the past I did speak up on certain things and everything got reversed to it was me. So I kind of stepped away, but when speaking to folks, they're not really listening to what I'm saying. And what I'm suggesting is you need to ask the right questions. We have a parish council who thinks they're just the bosses of everybody, that, and I have Frank here who can
Yes.
witness to that. So,
Yes.
but when it comes to finance council, there's money that gets redirected that I see, that I've witnessed. And so no one says anything. We keep being told that we have no money when there is money, and people don't ask, they just accept. And so if we don't have money, then why are we housing a guest priest and then paying him for masses? People aren't asking that. People aren't asking, okay, why is your family always here? And, we pay the bills. So why are you doing this? Why are you, people are not asking the right questions. I don't want to say too much because Frank is here and I am part of staff. And
I wanted to ask some questions too, but I understand, Claudia. You're telling the truth.
We have a suggestion box that Father put up only because there was a letter written to the Archdiocese. So he put up a suggestion box, and people are worried about pews being dirty, floor not being waxed, when they should be worried about where is our money? What are we doing with our money? Where is it?
And what I would just say, Claudia, those are the times, like the other, that I said, Ecclesiastes. There are times when we look at that. For me, you do your homework, you look at the people that are in the parish, who have you become relational with, who could you sit and talk and maybe voice what you're seeing, who are one or two people that you are close enough that at least they will sit and listen. And then maybe if you have 2 or 3, because that's another thing, where 2 or 3 are gathered, there God is with them. So when, you know, like, and you pray. I mean, I would not be here if I didn't have a prayer life. I mean, that's the foundation. And luckily, you know, I have a firm foundation, and I don't know if you know, like, I'm a Roman Catholic, which means that I'm, you know, a cradle Catholic, but my great grandfather was a slave of the Jesuits. And I tell people
Wow.
that's an evil in the church. But that foundation of Catholicism, and he was one of 12 people, 12 siblings, and every one of their baptismal records is in the Church of the Trinity, the famous church in DC. My great grandfather's baptismal record with his siblings is there. That foundation of faith is what we have to do. We have to go also. Sometimes that's the only thing that helps me to go sometimes. So it's like looking at the situation, looking at the particular gifts that God has given you, because the way Michael can do something is not the way you can do it. It's not the way that Franklin can do it. And we might need all of those 3 different ways to approach what needs to change.
Thank you. Thank
Okay,
you.
I'm just curious, if Kimberly and Oprah gonna say anything? I know Frank, you wanted to say something,
Yes.
I think,
Sister, I wanted to ask you a question. How can a layperson not be frustrated? I do all what I'm supposed to do, try to get other people involved. I don't question other people's spirituality. How can we get things done without getting frustrated? Not by lashing out at people or leaving the church, but how can we maintain our spiritual focus? We can get along on different issues or whatever, but how can we do things without blowing up?
Well, sometimes we need to blow up.
Okay.
There's a time.
Okay.
So sometimes we need to blow up. But that's where you pick and choose the times that God is inspiring you. Like the paper that Michael sent me, there's the idea, when is the moment, or what has God given you to help you at the moment? So
Okay.
if you're a person of faith and a person of prayer, then you're a person also who depends on God. And one of the last things, you know, that God does have my back, whether I wanted him there or her there or not.
Right.
God has my back. So if I believe that, and I really think that it's true, then I'm going to do what I need to work with God, because we can do it together. I can't do it by myself. And really, there's a saying that God helps those who help themselves. So in a sense, God can't do it by God's self either.
Okay.
So God needs us. So that's one way that I look at it, Franklin. But yeah, I get frustrated, and you know, but that's when I
get frustrated going to the food pantry. I feel like I'm getting cussed out, like I'm working at the post office, Claudia, with no, uh, like I'm working on a dock or whatever. Like I'm getting browbeaten, like I'm in the cotton fields.
yeah.
I'm
But
like,
then,
I
you know,
pray.
but yeah.
May have to drink a beer afterwards. Hey, I better be glad this is Lenten season. I'm not in the barber shop. I may cuss somebody out. Have a Marine flashback. Right.
And
Got
you
to
want to hear how my days go, Franklin?
yeah.
Sometimes I'll have a meeting and be with people, and I'll say, after the meeting, I say, I'll need a glass of wine.
All right. Yes, ma'am.
Sometimes I need a bottle, and sometimes I need a whole vineyard. And I'll
Right.
tell people that.
Yes.
So that's, you know, that the frustration is because of we're human.
We
And
are.
God got angry, and God cried,
Right.
and God and Jesus got weary.
Yes.
So if Jesus did all that, why should we be any less?
Right. Thank you. That's a big inspiration.
Fine.
Okay, all right. All right, so.
Did I hear from everybody?
Now, we haven't heard from Kim and Oprah yet, so I'm just, are y'all gonna take a pass or y'all gonna?
No,
Yeah,
I just
because-
have some stuff going on in the background, but thank you, sister. I guess what I deal with most of all right now, I'm in a school, a high school, supposed to be Jesuit influenced, not really. But coming out of that, we have a chaplaincy program, and which means I have a priest over me who knows nothing about curriculum but wants to set curriculum. And it doesn't work. And I even found going through the Virtus program that it's like it's the laity's fault that we had the priest scandal. If you all were doing your job, we wouldn't have these issues. And I get that from him, like you're the issue. And I just wanted some advice on how to deal with him. And he's a Black priest. So it's not like it's white priest. He is a Black priest.
Yeah, and some of that is because in the US, the male domination, you know, I even say like the founding fathers, they brought that. So for me, what I have to do, that's what the US was built on, male domination, independent. They came and fighting against so if all of those things are there, then that really is what we have to be, counterculture. So we have to find ways to get things without the violence and the guns. We have to find ways to empower people and empower lay people and empower women, because not many people, some of the priests, some of the men that are involved in church don't want to have anything to do with women. And the other thing, going back to seminaries, Cheryl, like I know in some dioceses, and I know in Philadelphia at one point, I'm not sure if it's still there, but there's a program in Philadelphia that they had, I think it was called Search, but it was that the novices and postulants from the different women's community would get with the male, either the seminary or the postulants and novices of men's communities, and would have sessions each week, which was great because it gave an opportunity for men and women in the same kind of new membership kind of idea, that they're learning things and they're interacting with people that are of the other gender, the other sex, which is a whole thing that we're dealing with now too, that goes back to what you just said, Kimberly. But those are some of the things that, for me, the more we know how we got to where we are, and the more that we're willing to face it, acknowledge it, and deal with it, then the better we'll be able to really change what's happening and really make it the church that Jesus wanted us to be. When we look at our church, it's not really what Jesus would want. And I remember back, I think this is like back in the 70s and 80s, that the statement that the young people were saying, what would Jesus do? There was initials or something, I think. And that's what I say too, that sometimes we need to learn from the young people. Like when I was in Savannah last weekend, I said it was the teenagers in Virginia that sat at the lunch tables to take that away. And now we don't want to listen to the young people. We don't want to listen to college people. Did we hear from everybody?
Oprah, are you okay? You want to pass? Yeah, I'm
Muted.
Hit the wrong button. Okay. No, thank you, sister, for everything. I mean, it's come to me that I just have to encourage people more. especially now with what's going on with the government, that you just have to stand up and say something. And normally I kind of wouldn't. I just kind of, oh, that's too bad. But now I find myself stepping up and saying stuff to folks. So.
And another thing that I've tell people, especially if I'm dealing with people of white, the African Americans, we have a lot of hymns and songs that are really good. And when you're just talking, Opal, one of the songs that I told somebody about the other day, there's this the hymn that we have, what do you do when everything has failed? And the answer is just stand.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what do you do with everything on stand? And I think that's where we are right now. I mean, my goodness, believe it or not, it's 9:13. So y'all went over a little bit, but it was not good. No, it's not your fault.
No, it was good.
It was
And
good.
still not enough. I could get like the Energizer.
Yeah. See,
I want more.
well, we have all this recorded, and you can just listen to it again. There were some things there that I wanted to interject, but I'm gonna have to leave it alone because I forgot it. She said so many good things, and I just suggest that we all listen to the video. We can do that on Monday. And if you have some things you want to say more, we can bring it into our conversation on Tuesday. Sister Cora, words cannot express the gratitude in my heart for you sharing so candidly your vocation. You gave us your vocation crisis. You helped us to deal with our own crisis within our vocation. You allow us to see that you're leaning on a scripture verse, that there is a time for everything. That's important. And you talked about the confrontations that you've had. Ministry, you're gonna rub up against some shoulders. And so you open that dialogue for us. And you reaffirm that what we're doing in this class is the right way. This is theological reflection. This is we've been we're getting a real good sense of theological reflection, and we only have 2 more classes left. My Lord, I mean this is just going by so quickly that we're embracing so much wisdom from you and from the class. So all I can do is say thank you. And I hope that when I send out the invitation again for the next class, I don't know what class it would be, but that you would be able to come on because you really enlightened us. And I'm just thinking, 86 years old. What does the song say? Please be patient with me. God is not through with me.
Not through with me yet. Right.
When I come through, I will come forth. I will come forth and be with the Lord. And you are really an amazing person. And I'm just lost for words. So we're going to pray out. I'm going to sit back. My wife is in Wisconsin. So I'm ran in here and I've been fed spiritually. Now I'm going to go get me a glass of wine. I'm going to relax.
Now, your glass of wine is not because you're frustrated with what happened today. Your glass of wine is because you're celebrating.
I'm celebrating. That is right. I am celebrating. But first of all, I mean, I don't know who has. If anybody online actually is this the first time you ever met Sister Cora Marymount Billings?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know any of. I don't think I ever met any of them.
You met me, sister.
I did. Where did I meet you, Opal?
At the Oblate's mother house. We had breakfast one morning when you were there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And you know what I tell people? I don't call Mother Lang. I don't call her Mother Mary Lang. I call her Elizabeth. So when I visit her grave at the Mother House, I talk to Elizabeth and tell her what she needs to help me with. So
then this has been an eye opener for you all, that to see this wonderful lady, this treasure that that we have, and now you can go tell somebody else. So, amen, amen.
Right. We're going to get her to come to Detroit.
Ah,
and I
that
do
sounds like a
95 and
LA.
95, Cheryl. I do 95 and 95. But what I want to say too is if there's ever anything, like I will do anything for the knowledge of helping young people. I will do anything that will help Black Catholics to be better. And I will do anything for the Sisters of Mercy. So
on that note, Sister Cora Billings, will you close us out in prayer, please?
dear God, we thank you for this time that we've had together. We thank you for the insights that we have gotten. We ask you to continue to help us to have the courage, to have the will, and to know really what you are asking of us. And help us to listen. Someone said that that's really important, that we don't have people that will listen to each other and want to be relational. We ask all this, and we ask this in the name of Jesus. We ask it in the name of what we want to be one of God's people and one of God's chosen people, because all of us on the screen are God's chosen ones. And we ask all of this in the name of Jesus, and let the church say, Amen.
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 Yeah.
All right, class.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
I'll
you
see
so
you.
much.
y'all. Don't forget,
Thank
y'all
you.
got that table with the young people now, right? We got the young person in mind.
I'm
Mary, we
working.
got the young person in mind. Cheryl, I saw your paperwork on Father Ted. I think I know him. I think I know
I
Father.
think you do too.
Okay, good. And Sister Corbin, we'll be in touch. Next time in Virginia, I'm gonna give you a call, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Hopefully you'll find me in town. I
I know
fly,
that's right.
tomorrow,
Right.
tomorrow I fly out to California for 9 days.
Oh, where are you gonna be?
I'm saying I'm going in through San Francisco this time,
Uh-huh.
but I was there a couple months ago, and I tease people. You know how they say a sailor has somebody in every port?
Mhm.
I was in the 3 airports in California the last time. I was there like a week, and I was in San Francisco, Sacramento, and also Los Angeles inside of a week. So
Wow.
All right. Good night, everybody.
good night.
Good night.
Be
Night.
Thank
safe.
you so much, sister.
Bless.
Thank
Thanks again,
you.
sister.
Thank
Be
you.
safe.